Imagine, like, locking yourself in a dark box, completely digesting your own body with acid, and then just rebuilding yourself from scratch.
I mean, it sounds like a sci-fi horror movie, right?
Yeah, exactly. But welcome to today's deep dive. We are unpacking a genuinely mind-blowing nature script about the birdwing butterfly to really explore the actual biological mechanics behind its metamorphosis.
And it is definitely not what you were taught in elementary school.
No, not at all. Okay, let's unpack this because while we all know caterpillars turn into butterflies, the actual process is this extreme, highly calculated teardown. It's way more intense than a simple wardrobe change.
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, to achieve that massive transformation,
Yeah.
you need an incredible amount of raw chemical energy. And that dictates a highly specific start to life. Like, the female birdwing only lays her eggs on the aristolochia plant.
Right, the pipevine.
Exactly, the pipevine plant. Nowhere else.
Which is wild. So that exclusivity basically turns the hatched caterpillar into this hyper-specialized engine, right? An engine that only runs on one exact type of fuel.
That's a great way to put it.
You pour the pipevine in, and the caterpillar grows so rapidly, it literally bursts out of its own skin, molting multiple times. And those pipevine leaves are actually toxic to most things.
Yeah, highly toxic.
But the caterpillar uses that. It utilizes the toxicity, developing these bold, crazy patterns that act as a literal warning system to predators. Like, hey, I'm full of toxic fuel, do not eat me.
What's fascinating here is that this stage isn't just about getting bigger. It's about aggressively stockpiling biological reserves.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just pure, unadulterated consumption.
Just eating machines.
Right. And the toxicity of the pipevine isn't merely a defense mechanism. It provides the specific chemical foundation it absolutely has to have to survive the radical deconstruction that's coming next.
And that deconstruction is where things get truly extreme. So once that biological fuel tank is totally full, the creature hangs upside down and forms this camouflaged chrysalis, looking perfectly like a dried twig or a leaf.
It's masterful camouflage.
It really is. But inside, and here's where it gets really interesting, inside, it doesn't just grow wings on a chubby caterpillar body.
Far from it.
Yeah, it's not like slapping new parts onto an existing chassis. It's more like taking a Lego castle, completely melting it down into a liquid puddle, and somehow reassembling it into a spaceship while it's still locked inside a sealed box.
That is exactly what it's like. Though, the term dissolving is actually a bit misleading. It's more of a highly controlled self-digestion.
Wait, self-digestion?
Yeah, the caterpillar literally releases its own enzymes to break down its tissues, creating this protein-rich soup. But it leaves behind these things called imaginal discs.
Imaginal discs, okay?
Right, they're essentially biological blueprints that have just been sitting dormant inside the caterpillar since the day it hatched. So these discs use that cellular soup as raw material to rapidly 3D print the butterfly's eyes, its legs, its wings.
Wow, so the caterpillar isn't really dying, it's just being harvested.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, nature's basically putting on a masterclass in ruthless, ultra-efficient repurposing. It completely breaks down the initial structure to extract the exact base components required for the next phase.
Because nothing is wasted in that closed system.
Exactly, zero waste.
Okay, so all that restructuring in the dark leads directly to the final unveil, right? When the chrysalis splits. But I kind of have to push back on this part of the design.
How so?
Well, when the birdwing emerges, its wings are all crumpled and wet. It has to physically pump fluid into the wing veins to expand them into those incredible iridescent greens and golds that look like stained glass.
Yeah, it's quite a process.
But isn't that an incredible evolutionary flaw? Fighting gravity, totally vulnerable to predators, arduously pumping fluid into crumpled tissue. It just seems really prone to failure.
Well, it looks incredibly risky, sure. But that struggle is actually a structural necessity. The fluid it pumps is called hemolymph. It acts like hydraulic pressure to expand the wings, but it also carries vital hardening agents.
Oh, so the pressure itself is what cures it.
Basically, yeah. The arduous labor of forcing that fluid through the delicate wing veins is exactly what gives those stained glass wings the structural integrity to eventually fly. Without that immense physical struggle, the wings would just be too weak to function.
Wow. That really reframes how you look at a butterfly floating gracefully through a garden. Like, it has to fight its own biology just to build the strength needed to go drink nectar, find a mate, and restart the whole cycle.
The effortless grace is really just the end result of immense physical labor.
It's an unbelievable journey. Going from this picky, leaf-devouring machine through a literal liquid teardown inside a twig-like shell to a shimmering winged adult.
It really is one of nature's best magic tricks.
It is. Which leaves you with one final thought to ponder today. If the caterpillar's body digests itself into a literal cellular soup during pupation, what happens to its brain? When that majestic birdwing takes its very first flight, does it retain any memory at all of its life crawling on the pipevine? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.